All right, so you're thinking about moving to the Pensacola area and you're wondering what the area is actually like. Sure, you probably vacation here on the Gulf Coast at some point in your life during the summer months, but now you're thinking about moving here and living full time. Well, as I'm sure you already know, living here year round on the mainland is gonna be a little bit different versus spending 2 weeks out at the beach on vacation. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 10 random facts, or 10 of my opinions, rather should I say, about what living here in the Pensacola area is actually like and some of the experiences you will have once you are a local. But before we dive into the video, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Robert Wilson and I moved to Pensacola about 6 years ago after graduating from Mississippi State University. And whenever I moved here to Pensacola, I quickly got into the real estate game. Currently, I'm a licensed agent with eXp Realty, so if you're thinking about moving here to the Pensacola area, I would love to help you do that. All of my contact information is going to be in the link in the description below, so if you want to check me out on my website or on my Facebook page, or if you want to go ahead and give me a call, all that information can be found in the description box below this video. So anyway, again, if you're thinking about moving here to the Pensacola area, I would love to be your agent. Also, before we go ahead and get into the video, if you find any value after watching this or while you're watching this, please go ahead and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. It really helps me grow the channel, as well as it helps you get to know a little bit more about the Pensacola area before you move here, because the last thing that you want to do is buy a home here in Pensacola without a full understanding of what the greater Pensacola area is actually like. You buy a home and you end up living in the wrong neighborhood on the wrong side of the track. So if you're thinking about moving here to the Pensacola area and you're wanting to learn more about Pensacola in general and kind of figure out some of the areas that you might want to move into, well, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because I put out videos like this all the time, which is basically going to help you get a better understanding about the Pensacola area before you move here. That way, when you do make that move, it's a smooth one and you end up living in the right house on the right side of the track. So anyway, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so first things first, Pensacola is a military town. Pensacola is home to NAS Pensacola, which is considered to be the cradle of naval aviation. But then also, besides NAS Pensacola, within 70 miles of the greater Pensacola area, there are also 4 other military bases. There is NAS Whiting Field in Milton, Hurlburt Field Air Force Base in Mary Esther, Fort Walton, and then there's also Eglin Air Force Base in Shalimar. Now, NAS Pensacola is going to be a big driver of the hyper-local economy in the Warrenton, Perdido, and West Pensacola area. So if you're thinking about moving to any of those 3 areas, you definitely will run into military members and experience an overall military vibe. All right, so another random fact about the Pensacola area is the fact that the area is still growing. Now, I know most of the country experienced a rapid growth phase over the past 5 to 6 years, and new construction was pretty much taking place everywhere. But here in the Pensacola area, our growth has not slowed down really at all. Right here we have the Palmilla. It's a new apartment development here in the downtown Pensacola area. And we also have many other developments here in the downtown Pensacola area. Let's check them out real quick. Okay, as I was saying, here we have the Palmilla apartment complex development located right here in downtown off of Garden and Coyle Street, which is just 1 street over from DeVillers. And as you can tell, DeVillers is a straight shot to the Wahoo Stadium, so overall great location. As you can tell from some of the pictures on their website, the Palmilla apartments are pretty upscale, and they offer beautiful amenities to the residents, such as this awesome swimming pool. Now, this development right here is going to be an expansion of the existing IHMC research facility. The IHMC stands for the Institute of Human and Machine Cognition, and what they do is they develop humanoid robots to perform the jobs that are
too dangerous for us humans. Some of the jobs that these robots are going to perform are going to be nuclear remediation, disaster response, firefighting, and just really any other scenario that might be dangerous or too dangerous for humans. There are also a couple of other developments taking place in downtown, such as the Hawkshaw condominiums located right across the street from Veterans Memorial Park. And then we also have the Waverly located right on Garden Street and the corner of Spring Street, another beautiful development in a great location here in downtown Pensacola.
All right, here's another random fact for you. Pensacola drivers were rated the worst drivers in America. I'm just kidding, they weren't actually rated the worst drivers in America, but it's definitely something that I kind of experienced when I first moved here. I was like, wow, these drivers are pretty aggressive. They're kind of all over the place and they never use turn signals. They run red lights like there's no tomorrow, and they have complete mental breakdowns at four-way stops. If you want to really confuse a Pensacola driver, have them pull up at a four-way intersection at the same time as two other cars and then throw a couple of pedestrians in the mix. They will totally go brain dead and have a mental breakdown. No, you go, no wait, do I go? Or that person's crossing up. It's just totally, it's crazy. But hey, you know, if you don't know exactly how to handle four-way stops, don't worry, you're gonna fit right at home here in Pensacola. Right now I'm standing in the center of Seville Square, where there's a day festival. It seems like just about every other weekend here in this park, but also on Sundays they have small local vendors come here, set up booths, sell artwork, sell artisan gifts and whatnot. But then right over there we have Palafox Street, where we have all of our restaurants, bars. Then right here we have Hub Stacy's, really great restaurant. And then over here we have Pensacola Bay Brewery, as well as plenty of other sights to see. And like I said, Palafox is just a short walk away, but also beyond that, there's plenty of other stuff to do here in the Pensacola area. For instance, obviously we have the beach. We have the Pensacola Blue Wahoos minor league baseball team. At the Bay Center, we have the Pensacola Ice Flyers hockey team. And then there's also concerts, comedy shows, and other types of events over at the Bay Center pretty much every Saturday, Sunday night. And then also, you know, shows to see during the week as well. On Palafox, we have the Sanger Theater. And then, as I mentioned, we also have the beach. So literally, you will never not have something to do on the weekend here in Pensacola. All right, so the weather here in Pensacola is as follows. So we have our springtime during the middle of February on into late April. And then from late April on into late October, kind of the early November time period, creeping on into the holidays, we're gonna have our summer month. And then after late October, from kind of early November to middle of February, we have our fall and winter months. And when I say fall and winter months, you know, it really does not get that cold here in Pensacola. Fall for us is kind of the low 60s. And then winter is gonna be just a couple random weeks, you know, from early November to middle of February, where temperatures drop down into the middle 50s during the day and then the low 30s at night. So, I mean, it rarely ever gets below freezing here in Pensacola. So if you're thinking about moving to the area and you're wanting to pack that big, heavy winter coat, well, hey, go right ahead. I'm not gonna stop you, but chances are you're probably not gonna wear it that much. Pensacola is home to the Blue Angels.
If you didn't already know, the Blue Angels are a group of Navy pilots and a Marine pilot whose mission is to showcase the teamwork and professionalism of the United States Navy and Marine Corps through flight demonstrations and community outreach, while inspiring a culture of excellence and service to country. The Blue Angels go on tour around the country, putting on air shows, showcasing Navy and Marine aviation. And in the year of 2023 alone, they are scheduled for 34 air shows. But since they call NAS Pensacola home, it's not uncommon for a lot of Pensacolians to be able to catch glimpses of the Blue Angels practicing throughout the year. This is especially common if you live in the Warrington area, Perdido, or the west side of Pensacola.
All right, so another quick tip and random fact for you is that if you move here to the Pensacola area, I promise you, shopping at Publix is going to be a much better experience for you than getting your groceries at Walmart. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, Robert, of course, if you get your groceries from anywhere other than Walmart, it's gonna be a good experience. But that truth is magnified on a monumental scale living and shopping here in the Pensacola area. Pensacola is a melting pot. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Pensacola is a military town, so you will have active duty military members living here, as well as military retirees. So just those two kind of demographics alone, you're gonna have thousands of transplants living here. Just because military members live here and are kind of moving to the area, civilians are flocking to the area as well, especially retirees. So if you're kind of hesitant to make that move because it's like, you know, I really do want to move, but I don't necessarily want to start over, make new connections, and just kind of basically restart my whole life, well, don't worry, because I promise you there's going to be plenty of other people who are in the exact same boat as you are. There's thousands of people moving here yearly from different states. You know, over the past couple of years, we definitely had a major influx of people moving to the Northwest, you know, Florida Panhandle and the state of Florida in general. So if you're a little hesitant about making that move, don't be, because I promise you, you are not going to be alone. You will have plenty of people, and you will meet plenty of people who are going through the exact same process of moving here to a different town, meeting new people, making new friends, building new connections, and starting a new life here together in the Pensacola area. So don't worry about doing that, or don't worry about not making that move, because I promise you, you will fit and feel right at home here in the Pensacola area. Okay, so another kind of random fact about living here in Pensacola, and really this kind of pertains to the downtown area, but this is something that I really noticed whenever I first moved here. And that is the fact that there's a lot of overhead power lines. Like I said, this was something that I wasn't really used to, and I just noticed it whenever I moved here, but I was kind of, you know, whenever I first moved here, I got here and was kind of like, man, wow, there's a lot of power lines. I'm seeing a lot of power lines. And I guess this really, you know, isn't that big of a deal, but if you're a power line snob and you don't like to see, you know, utilities or infrastructure in the sky, and it, to be honest with you, it does kind of take away some of the aesthetics, but the Pensacola is a really old city, you know, so it is what it is. But to me, I don't think that it really takes away the aesthetics too much to where, you know, I would hesitate to move down here. I mean, downtown Pensacola, in my opinion, is one of the best areas. But if you're the type of person who would rather not see power lines overhead and would rather have them buried underground, and I will say real quick like that, there are a lot of new construction homes being built here in the downtown area, and the utilities are being buried underground. But if you want to live in an area where pretty much all power lines are underground and you don't see any power lines whatsoever, I would highly recommend that you check out the Beulah area. That is a very up and coming neighborhood, or, you know, community rather, where everything is being freshly built. So, you know, everything out there is pretty modern, and they're burying most utilities, especially overhead power lines, underground. So check out the Beulah area if you don't like power. So last but certainly not least, and really not a random fact, but Pensacola is home to Pensacola Beach. So if you vacationed here in the past, well, congratulations, now you live here full time and you can go to the Pensacola Beach anytime you want to, not just in the summer, but also during kind of the October, November, and into the fall months. Now, as you can see behind me, the beach is already pretty crowded, and we're only just now entering into the month of April. So you can only imagine what the months of May, June, July, and August are like out here. So whenever you move here to the Pensacola area and you become a local, some of the best times to go to the beach are actually during October, November, December, when it's a little bit less crowded. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, just because we're in the traditional, you know, fall and winter months such as October, November, December, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be too cold to come out here to the beach. Because like I said, I mean, during October, November, like it still gets to be 80 degrees in October. But also during November, we have plenty of days where it's in the low 70s, mid 60s. So Not necessarily a random fact that Pensacola is home to Pensacola Beach, but a random fact is the fact that, you know, October, November, December are also really good months to go to the beach, especially if you're a local.